Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to be doing a run of Silent Suzuka for Scorpio Cup. I've been doing quite a few runs of her trying to get that perfect ace, and so I thought I'd kind of showcase a run for those who are wanting to build a runaway Silent Suzuka for Scorpio Cup, and actually show you how difficult it actually is, even if you have a whale deck and fairly decent parents. So if you are somebody who's a free-to-play and does not have very strong cards, I can tell you you're going to need even more luck than I am trying to get, because you are needing a lot of stats and a lot of skills if you want to make one that can win. Now, there's always the option to build it just to try and be a blocker for front runners. That won't be that hard to build, especially if you're going to be going heavy in pace or late surger, because all of my Silent Suzukas do pretty good at being in the front when we hit the late race and basically getting the rod. The problem is she doesn't have a large enough distance to finish off the race, or enough skills to kind of give her an extra speed boost at the end of the race to kind of help her finish the race off. And she gets passed a lot of times, but she does win on occasion. And these are kind of in stronger lobbies too. But ultimately, you want to be able to win against stronger lobbies pretty consistently if you want to have the best chance of winning the finals. We're going to go ahead first and take a look at some of the ones I've built that I've kind of marked as ace potential, that have done decent enough, but I'm not considering good enough to be my final product at this point. And so now you might think this is all I have. Like all my ace runs, like 90% of them get thrown away before they even get past that first inspiration. And that's just because I just don't have the time to push all the way to the second inspiration and then not get anything. So most of the time when I'm building my aces, that first inspiration, I want to at least get most of the pieces of the puzzle. So Silent Suzuka, groundwork, and medium S are the two biggest things I'm looking for. We can get some of the other stuff on the way there through the spirit bursts and all that, but groundwork and medium S are the two biggest things we need. And so some of the ones I've made here so far, they all have little parts that I don't like on them. So the first one that I got here, we got the medium S. And so this one's actually very healthy on stamina. So I'm trying to go without taking any recoveries. One of the things is you just need strong skills to keep yourself in the lead during the mid race as well as the late race. You can have a very, very strong start because we have taking the lead, concentration, and groundwork. But, one, you have to get them all to activate, and two, after you do get them all to activate, everybody else is going to slowly be catching up to you for the rest of the race, and so you need a strong mid-game to keep yourself in the front and as far as you can. So, this one, stamina is really good here. Wit is a little low, especially for what this one's doing. This one does not have 3 greens. So we are gambling that we need to absolutely have to get taking the lead concentration to activate alongside groundwork. Now, I wouldn't consider this the worst in the fact that if taking the lead does fail the trigger, you're already way behind and you're probably going to lose because taking the lead is a big acceleration boost on its own right. So that was kind of the thought with this one being okay, because if we fail the skill trigger, both groundwork and taking the lead, it's already a bad run. But still, power and wit kind of feel a little low here, but this one is very safe in the sense this one's like a complete blocker. It's not going to die even with heavy nice nature hits, and it will block rod, but it does struggle a little bit to finish the race in the lead. We have that one. Well, here's actually the first one I built. So this one was another one. Now, I did not take unrestrained on this one, and this one was very hard to get enough mid-race skills. If I took unrestrained on this one, you pretty much can say goodbye to like the entire mid-race that I have here, and then it just becomes a you have that early race and then the end race acceleration. You have nothing else but in between, and while it can work as a blocker, she's generally not going to be able to win because she does not have the mid-race skills to keep her alive. But overall, I had pretty good stats. And I've actually forgetting to show the cards here. I've kind of changed up the decks that I've used. part of one of the things, as you can see here, is these are very whaley decks that I'm using. And if you don't have these kinds of cards, it's going to be even harder for you. So this is going to be quite difficult if you're free to play. It's not a free to play friendly build to go with. So if you're trying to build a runaway, just know you will struggle. Even if you just got your new shiny Kitasan Black MLB, if you don't have cards like MLB, Biko Pegasus, something like Tamamo Cross, there's options. I mean, you have like Super Creek and all that too. But since I am not needing a gold recovery, I'm going with Tamamo Cross on this side of things. Fine Motion. Maybe you're lucky and you do have MLB Rico alongside Kitasan Black and can borrow something else to make this work. That's the one thing I don't have, is I don't have an MLB Rico. But just know the deck's going to be kind of hard here. We have that one. As I said, every single one of these has something wrong with them to a certain extent. This one has the 3 skills, looks good here. We have Rosy Outlook that kind of give us a little bit of stamina here, because this one does not have enough stamina. My main target is around 950 and 500. That's pretty much enough to survive some debuffs, and then you're good to go, and then you push everything else up. But other than that, this one has left-handed Fall Runner. I really like to get Fall Runner. Getting that extra little bit of speed helps finish the race, because now her max speed's just a little bit higher to help her compete with the other front runners that might be potentially trying to catch up if they have like a Taiki Shuttle alt on their front runner, which is, I think, a very good option if you're building a non-runaway, is to have Taiki Shuttle's alt, because it's going to be very hard to be in first place against a runaway. But so that helps with that. And there's been races where this one has won and been faster than the other front runner, even though they got an excel off, for the simple fact that we have the 2 greens and they have none in a lot of cases, or only one of them. But overall, this one, the problem has been kind of that stamina situation. It's very, very high risk on that lower stamina side of things. I think, yeah, and a little bit lower power. So then we get to some of my really good ones that I've gotten here, but still have problems. This one has that same stamina problem, although this one actually has done quite well in test races. But it is still... We have Tokyo Racecourse to try and give a little bit more there. We have the 2 greens. Mihono Bourbon on this one decided not to show up. Here's the deck for this one. I think it's the same one. This is me trying to really up the power. And so you can see probably why I have stamina problems. But I, instead of borrowing Rico, borrowed a Vodka alongside Tamamo Cross, hoping that Tamamo Cross can give me enough rainbows to get that extra stamina I need. And we'll look at the parents that I'm using here in a second. But hoping Tamamo Cross could get me over the finish line on stamina, and it did not work out. She can win, and does win, if nothing goes wrong on the stamina side of things. And like I was saying here, early lead kind of sucks. I'd rather have taking the lead. But if we did have taking the lead here, you can say goodbye to the very few mid-race skills that she has. So, very skill point intensive. And then this is one I just ran on stream today. Literally got medium S, turf S, and groundwork in the very first inspiration. It is the very first run I did today. Was able to get very healthy stamina, good enough wit, pretty good power, especially with turf S. But as you can see, we have no mid-race other than a Professor of Curvature. She can easily hold the rod, but doing it, and this is like my current main ace. If I can't get anything better, she will be my main ace. Putting her up against a lot of viewers, Umas. She can hold first place pretty easily most of the time, but barely loses at the end. And that barely is just because she has no mid-race or anything to help her finish off with an extra speed boost, and she just gets past. Any late surger that gets lucky with any of their skills, no stopping where that is passing her. Same thing with Pace Chasers and Taiki's alt. All it takes is one of them to get it, and she can lose. So we're continuing to work on her. And so that's where this one comes in. Now, the skills, you can kind of ignore the skills. I gave up on this run. because our stats are just not high enough. So I just took a bunch of stuff to see if I could get a parent. So you can kind of ignore the skills, but you might notice that I do have a lot of them here. And that is because this was an attempt to kind of test out forcing in a lot more races. And this actually showed that if you force in more races, you can actually get, and this is already known to be true, if you can do more races, you get more skill points, of course. But you can get close to the stats needed while also being able to afford more skills. This was by no means a high roll either on stats. I definitely did not get lucky on stats. Anyone probably can say in chat here, you might see it in the corner, I don't know if anyone's saying it. I hit wit a lot on this one, and that is because on my deck, I swapped out Tamamo Cross for Agnes Tachyon here. And you can kind of tell the difference. But if not for that, it might have been a decent one. Although we did not get Turf S on this one, which kind of sucks. But power, pretty low in that capacity. I think we Spirit Burst a lot on Wit on this one as well. And so I'd rather sacrifice like 200 of this Wit or 100 of it and move it over into these. And then our run would have been pretty good. We ended up with, I think, 2,000 skill points on this one. And, oh, this one also, another negative. This one lost the Unity Cup. So we lost a lot of stats to the Unity Cup. We lost the second race on the Unity Cup, as well as the finals. So that hurt really bad as well. So for a lot of things going wrong on this one, it actually turned out pretty good. And this is what we're going to try and do again here to showcase a Silent Suzuka run and kind of how you want to approach it with my thoughts as I'm making decisions. Except we're going to be replacing Agnes Tachyon here with my Tamamo Cross. So let's just go ahead and start the run here. So luckily it's already going to fit everything in for me. Silent Suzuka. And okay, so here are my parents that I'm using. Of course you need angling, Seiyun Sky. So I have this Mihono Bourbon that I built. She has 3 stamina, 2 medium. Over here we do have a Tail Held High, which is really nice if we can pick that up. It's a cheap skill. Now Tamamo Cross also gives Tail Held High. But this can help give us discounts to it. We have Ignited Spirit Power as well, although very gambly. But potential, if we have enough skill points, you never know, because one of the things that helps her win is Unrestrained, which is already a gambly skill in its own right. This one I believe is a little bit more gambly though. But if you can get 2 of her excels off, that is what helps her win the race. Is she needs to get to her top speed as soon as possible. Angling and scheming is just not enough most of the time. And so with the parents on this one of my Narita Taishin aces, key thing being an ace, so it doesn't have a lot of affinity, but power 3, medium 2. This one has URA final 2. Big thing is I'm trying to hit the couple URA finals I have. If I can hit these, very good for your speed and stamina. That's kind of a big part of the gamble too. If we can get that medium S, groundwork, and if we get really lucky, hit 2 of these, that's some really big stats for speed and stamina. And then the other one, this is the Borrow, stamina 3, medium 3. And then kind of, we have like front runner savvy, early lead, groundwork 2, and then of course you're a final 2 on this one. So pretty good parent overall. This is mine. This is the Mihono Bourbon. So then we have my other one. It's only got power 1 here, but it has a medium 2, and then it's got groundwork 2, front runner savvy 3, front runner corners 2, final push, fast paced, early lead. Like every single run, I get something. I feel like I get some of these things, which is very important for those discounts. You really need the discounts on the skills as much as possible, and getting a lot of these is very good. And you can kind of see the same thing in my the grandparents on it. Stamina 3, medium 2. This one has like fast paced 1, final push 3, front runner straightaways 2, groundwork 2. So a bunch of stuff in there. And then the Borrow on this one, I think in the early days when we were doing the groundwork grind, this was like the most I think everybody was borrowing this Mihono Bourbon. It was like the best option we had for a while. And this is actually the Mihono Bourbon. This Turf 3 as what's been been my ability to get Turf S. It has about a 10% chance to trigger when you look at the affinity of this one and on the spreadsheet. So about every 1 in 10 runs, I do get a Turf S. And then I think it's about 1 out of 2 runs, I get Medium S. So it's about a 5% chance to get both Medium and Turf S. So if I grind enough, it is possible to get them, and they do show up on occasion. And this one has, of course, Groundwork 3, Front Runner Straightaway, Play Time's Over, which on Silent Suzuka, I had this on one of them. If you have a strong Silent Suzuka, this one's very hard. I found this one very hard to trigger. If you're already triggering this, that means somebody's getting right up behind you, and it might already be too late anyway. So this is like a last option if I don't have anything better for me, because I feel like this is pretty bad. But that's just from my own testing. I could be very wrong, but I have not seen it be worth it on her at this point. Oh yeah, it has, and we have like a mixture of, like, let's see, yeah. Oh yeah, we have Fall Runner right here, Tokyo Race Course, and those are kind of mixed in here on the race ones. So that's my parents, and so as you can see here, it gets me 84 stamina, very heavy on the stamina, because we're trying to get our stamina high enough so we don't need a recovery. It just takes way too many, it steals way too much of your skill points to take the recoveries. You just can't afford them. And then minimal power. This is the hardest part of the build. And it's trying to get those spirit bursts as much as possible, or at least hitting speed more so enough to get that up. But it is the hardest part of this build. And so my target is to get as many spirit bursts there. Else we have low power. And that's why Turf S is really, really nice if we can get it. So we're going to go ahead and build it. Here is what I'm going with. I have a zero limit break Rico, so I'm pretty much tied to borrowing her every time, which isn't that big of a deal since I pretty much have everything else I could ever need anyway. Tamamo Cross options if you don't have her. Super Creek, of course. Even if you're not going to take the gold recovery, which I wouldn't, you have still very strong. I mean, she's got the stamina bonus, 15% training effectiveness, initial stamina 35, and race bonus 10%. So overall pretty good. I've swapped between the two, and on her skills, not really anything as useful. I like Tamamo Cross primarily because I actually want a floating card. She does not have special priority, and she has a little bit less race bonus, which is kind of the one negative, but she gives a lot more initial stamina. She has the 15% training effectiveness, and then the most important part of her is when we got the skill buffs, they added Tail Held High to her. It's a very cheap, very strong skill if we get a very strong mid-game, and so I like to pick that up. But I think, and then she also has medium corners and Rosy Outlook if I'm absolutely desperate for a little bit of extra stamina, as this recovery will activate mid-race, can be used to trigger Tail Held High, and so if I'm a little low on stamina, this does give me an option. And she has hint level 3, so they are pretty discounted if we get them off her. But Super Creek's an option. I mean, if you're really desperate, I mean, you have, because you're going to need that high roll, you have like pretty much any of the other stamina cards. If you have Satono Diamond from Kita-san Blackpool's MLB back in the day, could be used. She's an okay one. Mayano Top Gun, pretty much any stamina card. You're really going to want at least another stamina card paired with her, I've found. At least with my Sparks. Now, what I have tested, as I showed with the vodka, even if you go full stamina and you want to try and do the power card build, the problem is going to be guts. You really want to get around 500 guts alongside 950 stamina to not need a recovery. So you really want to be hitting stamina to get a little bit of guts. Luckily, she does have a 10% bonus to guts, so it's not as hard to get to those. Of course, you need your Mihono Bourbon Wit for taking the lead. If you don't have this, I mean, okay, you must have just started, so you're pretty much screwed. So, because she just came out like a month ago when it's the free card. Biko Pegasus, I mean, you just fit in any other speed card, but Biko Pegasus is really, really nice for this to get that. Like, Hida-san and Biko together pretty much covers me on speed every single time. I have no issue. So he has 20% speed. And then Fine Motion. I guess if you have Nice Nature, you can use Nice Nature. Machi Kane Fukukataru. Wit. Agnes Tachion's a pretty good one. She has medium up-tempo, medium corners, medium straights, medium tempo. There's a lot of different options there. Just know it's going to be, if you do not have like the really big stat stick ones like I'm using, it's going to be even harder and an even higher high roll you need to get to even make her competent enough to be strong. Now, if you're only building one to try and block other frontrunners, you don't need as strong a cards. Just know she's not going to win on her own that often, at least in round 2 in the finals. Round 1, you probably will steal a lot of wins just because of bad Umas there. And so that's pretty much it. That's my build we're going to go with. And let's just go ahead and get into this. Now, like I do all my runs, we're going to just assume we get medium S and groundwork. We're going to finish this run. Normally, if I don't get anything in that very first inspiration, I throw that Uma away and just start from scratch. So, we'll just assume I get that. Unless the run is so terrible, then I will just reset and make a cut and start with my new run for this video. But let's just go ahead and get to it. All right, so the first one, I try and at least get 2 on a friendship. If not, I will do a wreck and hopefully get lucky and get her all the way up to great. This one, we have a nice speed hit. Fine Motion's always a big target for me to get to max friendship so we can start getting wit hits for a lot of energy. That alongside Mihono Bourbon. Okay, so we have one here. Let's get them both up. And one of the things too is to get the really high stats, the entire run needs to be a god run. I've had runs where it starts off bad and starts to get really good towards the end. You really can't make up for having a bad run like anywhere. Okay, speed here. Now we want to try and get our spirit bursts on power, if possible. Power and speed. I tend to not have too much issues getting my wit high enough to be good, so I really don't want to hit it unless it's like a very good hit. Okay, let's see. And of course, we get one here. 12%. We're going to gamble on this one. I'm always willing to throw them away, even if it's at this point. Let's go and gamble. I like 3 arrows. You really need to get those spirit bursts. And there we go. Now we're going to need to rest, though. All right, we started the first part of her event here. If you're really wanting to, if you're feeling like you're not going to hit the stamina parts, you could get Moxie in the speed, but I really like to take the wit off this card. But this one could give you a white skill that you can have as a last second resort to get like basically the equivalent of 70 to 80 stamina. But I don't want to have to buy a very expensive recovery because that's already going to ruin the point of doing a bunch of races. So we're going to take that 15 wit here. Okay. Unless we have a god tier. Ooh. Another one I can gamble on a failure of 18%. In the early parts, I'm always gambling. And it worked out. But if you're not willing to throw away your Umas often, or if you're relying on a borrow, she's definitely not going to be a fun one to build. I've done probably 50 to 100 runs of Silent Suzuka already for Scorpio Cup. And the ones I showed you are all I've gotten that have been good. All right, now we're not going to gamble on that one. I think that one's not good enough for the gamble here. Let's get us up here. We want to make sure we can try and hit Rico. Okay, there we go. There's a mood up. So we can get that mood up to start getting stats immediately too. And that's perfect right there. Nice hit. We're already almost going to get speed rainbows and we haven't got to the junior yet. And we're already in a great mood. So far, so good. No arrows at all. Well, we try and take advantage of power hits whenever we can. Random guts hit. Okay, we're going to go over this for Rico, Friendship, and we'll get Taiki Shuttle up there. Nice. Another big gamble one. We do a lot of these in the beginning. There we go. Okay. Unless it's a good wit one. Nope, we're gonna rest. But yeah, if you want to get the high numbers, you've got to gamble on those ones. And just be willing to accept you got to throw them away if you lose these gambles. Failing any training is pretty much a dead run. Now, what you can do if the run does derail and you don't want to throw it away, you can just increase the amount of gambling you do to try and make up for it, but it doesn't always work out. Okay, so we have a power hit or a wit hit. Both of these good. We can get Rico into green. We get one on Rice Shower. This one gets one on Kita-san black. And some for that. And we can do another hit, so we're going to go with that. Conserves our energy. I think either of those would have been fine. But I definitely want to get my fine motion up too. Nothing really all that good here. Although we can get her ready to Spirit Burst and Friendship up for them. It's not too bad of a hit because of all that training effectiveness on there too. Man, talk about a bad one. Okay. Rico will conserve some energy. We'll get some Friendship there. We'll get her into green. Best we got. Okay, that's some stamina there. One more and we get Tail Held High. Okay. Man, that one's another pretty good one of the arrows here. Hoping Rico shows up. Okay, we're not going to gamble for that one. Well rested. Nice. There's Tail Held High. Always good. Man, we are getting... This is not doing too good. We're going to do this for fine motion. Try and get her up and an arrow. And it's a power hit. Right-handed. That sucks. I would have took Fall Runner. Okay. Getting her some rainbow capabilities. Getting you up to ready to Spirit Burst. Okay, this one I almost never take straight away. It can give a little bit of speed if you're close to max. Might take it, but I want all the energy I can get. I almost never take straight away Adept, so... And speed's not really a problem. I want these bubbles on power, but you can't pass that up. That's a pretty good hit right there. We're going to take that. Nice Friendship. Speed and power on that one. Oh, of course it's on. And usually when it's on power, because we don't have any power cards, it's something like this. Don't hit that. Don't hit that. Even if we had enough energy, don't hit it. Man, everything here kind of bad. We're going to go ahead and rest. There we go. Okay, status as I am. This one so far is kind of feeling like a low roll, though. I've had way better starts. Try and force Rico. By hitting her, maybe she'll do it. Yeah, these are pretty much... I probably could have raced there. There we go. Probably could have raced there, though. Okay. Now, one of the things I'm trying to do... Okay, that looks like a decent hit, but not good enough. We're trying to force those races in. Let's do it. Try and do all the G1s unless you have a really good hit. You need those skill points. You just need them. We're preparing ourselves for Make a New Track by racing as much as we can. Yeah, see. Yeah, not good enough. We're gonna race again. And the nice thing with all the race bonus is, you'll see here, 64 skill points. Now, if I had Super Creek, I think it would be 65 or 66 because of her extra race bonus she has. Okay, we're still in F because we only popped once, so we're going to have to use Team Newbie here. Oh my god. Hope we don't lose to the middle one. I've almost lost to it before. Now, we got to hope we don't lose on the second one. The last 2 runs we've lost to it today, so hopefully we'll get a little bit better here. Alright, yeah, we're going to take the energy here. Getting Rico's event done gives us nice stamina and guts. Very important. That's giving us nothing almost. At least we're getting friendship here. We're getting 2 updoots. There we go, taking the lead done. That's like the only event chain we really care about. We do want to see Professor of Curvature, but if we don't get a strong enough discount, I mean, that's already bad anyway. Okay, more updoots, getting Fine Motion in or up. We really want to start getting those Wit ones, because we'll rely on Wit for energy once we blow through all our Rico hits. This one has got Guts or Corner Adept. We take that Corner Adept hint. We need as many as we can get. We want to be able to take Professor of Curvature. That's a pretty nice power hit and a Fine Motion going up. Alright, we got rainbow capabilities from Fine Motion. And this is what it loves to do to me. It puts it on here. Man, although we have anything else, like this is a pretty good hit overall. It does get, now, one thing people don't think about when it comes to these, you do get off the Spirit Burst. We do get a little benefit out of it. We get the extra stats, which isn't as much as the others, but you are getting a bonus skill points and a bonus energy off of it. And this is going to get us Tamama Cross up a little bit. I'm going to take that, but we need to try and avoid doing too many on Wit. That, and nice fast-paced discount. Because that can basically, you over-Wit, and then the rest of your stats get hurt too much. You really want to get your Spirit Bursts where you're the weakest. For us, that's going to be Power. We want to get them on Power with hopefully some other cards that have training effectiveness. Now, my deck has a lot of training effectiveness in it. I think it's 20% here, 15% here, 13% here, and I think 15% here. Yeah, 15%. So, as long as some of these land on Power with the Spirit Burst, it's going to be very good. Alright, that's why we got them up. Alright, let's do this here. Alright, here we go. We're going to go to our first inspiration, though. We're looking for Medium S, Turf S, and Groundwork. URA Final would be also a nice little bonus. And that was absolute crap. So, I would throw this one away normally, but we're going to play it through. We're going to play it through as if we actually got what we wanted here. Stamina's actually looking pretty good. That one's a pretty bad hit, though. And we're on a race. We're going to race. Now, one of the things you have to think about with her is you need 6 races in a row without losing to get runaway when you finish the Tenno Show Autumn. So, if you do lose one towards the end, make sure you know that you're going to have to rush some extra races in there to hit that 6 limit. Which probably means the run's dead already at that point, but you just need to take note of it. Nothing really too good here. So this is our perfect opportunity. Make sure you're burning your Ricos when you're right here. You want to make sure she doesn't give as much energy, so you want to be kind of in that area to make sure you're going to hit that 50% point versus resting. If you're a lot lower, I like to rest instead. Okay, that's a really good speed hit. There is a race here, but can't pass that up. Getting some updoot arrows and a double one there. But there's a ton of G1s here. We have another G1. We're going to skip that one too. Wet conditions, really good. There's our extra green. And just to help us actually survive the Unity Cup, we're going to have to take that one too. Okay, I guess we're not going to get to do any bonus races here. Rico's saving us some energy too while we hit that. Okay, there we go. That's some energy. Okay, we are actually kind of in a bad position. I would normally do this race, but we're getting ready to go into the summer and we're too low. We're going to use Rico to top us up here. Alright, let's see what we get. Come on, can we win this? I've lost this the last 2 times. Oh my god. Alright, so look at our team here. Okay, we can cover Mile. We're good enough for Mile. D, D, D. Okay, I think we're solid. I think we're good. We're probably the weakest on medium here. Medium and long, I'm gonna guess the stamina's garbage. She might be a liar. Tazuna does like to lie. We have a 3 here. We're covering Mile, so hopefully we're good. Maybe it's saying we suck. I don't know. I never trust that thing. It lies so much. Let's see. Yeah, see, we won. Fine motion suck. Uh-oh. Pikey shuttle carrying. Oh, man. We survived it this time. Of course, it's when we didn't have a good inspiration, too. Okay, we got some good up arrows there. I'm guessing nothing else here's all that. Ooh, that's a... That would be good with Rico there. But this has got a lot of up arrows, preparing her for bursts. And we conserve energy. One of the problems with Wit, though, if you hit it too much, you're screwing your other stats. Jesus Christ, man. Everybody's gonna yell at me, I'm overwitting again. You just can't pass up. I mean, this is skill points too. There's up tempo. Man, we're getting our stats. My very first run, we maxed speed almost like within the first year. Or the second year because of these kinds of hits. But we're gonna end up having to be desperate hitting stamina and power at this rate. But this is part of the gamble. I mean, where your rainbows land. We got some nice up arrows there. I like where it's at here. Okay, up arrow on Pico versus 3 on them, plus a pretty decent wit hit. Let's do this so we conserve the energy. We're getting a lot more built up. Second wind, useless. Oh, of course we get the mood down. But overall, our stats are looking pretty solid. Stamina, I think our weakest right now is power. Stamina being at 500 is actually pretty good. And we have not hit it. We did not get lucky with a U or A spark either. But that's the power of Tamamo Cross. She gives a lot of stamina. We'll take the stamina there. Yeah, so we're pretty solid there. We should be able to get that to that 950 point. Man, it just wants me to keep hitting speed. But if we can get speed fairly high, it allows us to do just hits everything else, whatever, at the end, as much as it sucks. You start doing those desperate hits. Alright, we can't do anything here, really. And we are on this. We're gonna race. Yeah, we're gonna race here. We just need to get those skill points. And the G1s are the best opportunities. We skipped a bunch of them early, so... And that got us our mood back up, which is good. There's some more stamina. Okay, so this one, I think we're going to rest, and then we'll make the decision whether to do that race or not. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead. Her third one, I don't think we're going to get up to the medium, but let's just see what we get here. Yeah, it's just below it. No. No, not doing it. We're racing. We're racing. No more wit hits. We're healthy enough for now. Alright, there we go. Big wins. Stamina, nice. Okay, this one... I've had people question this one. I find that left-handed is 90. And you're not going to be double hitting it, so you're not going to be able to take advantage of the little discount you're going to get on it from this. I find getting these skill points is more valuable. Plus a little bit of speed. Okay, nice. Hit right there. A lot of up arrows. This one is speed or wit. We're really healthy on speed. Take the wit. Oh, that one's kind of... Now, normally I'd probably gamble on this just because this... Usually this run would have already been dead because of that bad inspiration. But if I do push through, this would probably be a gamble there for the up arrows. But I like this one. It's getting me right about that halfway point. Alright, Unity Cup. Alright, we should hopefully be healthier here. The Cool Runners. Okay, we're looking pretty solid. How's the team looking? Let's just look at the team here. C, we covered this one, C. And we got C on Fine Motion. Fine Motion already failed us once, though. But the Cool Runners are easy. Hopefully we don't get the Turf Queens next. Watch them. Kita-san Black carrying. Me carrying. Alright, we're healthy. Mihono Bourbon not winning enough. I mean, that's typical Mihono Bourbon. Her career, she loves to lose. She doesn't act anything like her real-life counterpoint. Now, that'll change once we get to Valentine's version. Alright, depending on my energy here, I'll take the skills versus this. We're doing a lot of races. We can go ahead and take the energy here. Alright, I guess we're going to be very healthy on speed. That's going to set us up to kind of start trying to hit other things. That's a nice hit. We need a crazy good inspiration here, though, for this to be a good run. Guts and stamina versus wit. Let's look at our stats. Wit's pretty good. Stamina's actually pretty good, but I think we're gonna go with the stamina and gut. Just to be a little bit safer there. I think our wit's pretty solid right now. Okay, nothing really all that good here. Kita-san, that's a pretty decent power hit, and we're getting her ready to Spirit Burst, so let's take that. And we're getting her close to max, which is some extra stats too. And our extra races actually allows us, if you don't do extra races, you don't actually get her alt increase there. Oh, that one's pretty good. Up arrow. Rico reducing the cost. Some training effectiveness. Power. But now we're just below it, so we could either do a Rico. And we're about to be racing on the next one, so we're going to probably do a double race, so I'm going to go ahead and Rico it. Give us some energy so we can make a decision. Stamina and guts. Alright, here's where it gets scary, because if we lose one of these optional races we end up doing in this last area, we're going to be doing some desperate races to get our 6 wins. But that is what it is there. Alright, so we have a G1 here. We're healthy on speed, so I'm not too worried about speed. We're pretty healthy everywhere. I don't see anything crazy here. So we're going to go ahead and race. Alright, we're looking for power. Power or stamina. Power or stamina. Wit. Okay. Alright, big inspiration. Medium S groundwork. Medium S groundwork. And turf if we can give it. Turf S as well. We got medium twice, but no groundwork. Alright, do we have... So, well, we almost got it, but let's just double check. We got the medium S, but I'm pretty sure we don't have groundwork. Yeah, we didn't get groundwork. We still... Do we have her on our team? We still have a shot. We still have a shot. Gold ship, rare. If we can get an up arrow on her, we can get our groundwork. Or random Smart Falcon event, which we've seen twice. I think we've seen it twice today now. But also, she can give it randomly if we give her an up arrow. Oh, no up arrow on her. Okay, I like that one. That's going to help our stamina. We could hit it right now for groundwork. We can get an attempt at groundwork on her massive card pool. Because if you actually look at it, it's pretty massive. Let's see. Nothing here. We don't want to do that. We're going to go ahead and use our last Rico. That way we can make some decisions here as we get into the next G1s. Oh, that's a pretty good power hit. And it's got a gold ship. We're going for the groundwork off gold ship. Let's do it. No skill. Nice stamina hit. Alright, we are healthy on stamina. And she's now ready to Spirit Burst, but we are healthy on stamina. We're gonna go into the summer. That's not gonna give enough energy. We're gonna race here. Where are we at on what are we on the things? 4-3-3. We're kind of bad there because of the Unity Cup. We're gonna need... Yeah, let's just rest. It's safest bet here. Of course we get the mood down. Usually, if we have our training facilities higher, I will not worry too much about summer if I have to rest there immediately. But our training facilities are actually fairly low still. Sometimes I have them like all level 4 at this point, and I might do some extra races or a big training if I see it. We got the clean cleats. Easy peasy. No turf queens. Watch us lose. Oh no, we didn't. Okay. Ooh, a nice power bubble. Now we do... With Rico on it, we're going to take that. Because we don't want to forget. I mean, yeah, our speed's high, but we don't want to completely forget about it. It's not done yet. Ooh, that's a big guts hit. And gold chip. Give it to me. Groundwork. And gold chip fails. Okay, let's get us back up to a great mood. Our wit's actually a little low, too. Throwing a million options at me here. I think we go with wit. We're a little bit lower than I like, and that helps top our speed off here. My God, she's just getting the butt hurt ones here now. There we go. Okay, this now definitely ensures we're healthy on stamina. Now we just need groundwork. If it pops up randomly. Okay, we are healthy. We need that extra wit. No training for gold ship. Yeah, we're gonna make sure to top off speed here. This is always the tricky part. Making sure you don't want to overcap speed, because then that's a lot of skill points that you're wasting. Early lead. Okay, here's Runaway. And then I like to kind of double check where I'm at on skill points here. Last run I was at about 1500 at this point. So we'll know we're on track for about 2000 if we have about 1500 here. Dang. I must have not done that many extra races. Maybe it was the other one. I don't know. We'll see where we end up at the end. But man, we are low. A lot lower than I was expecting. Okay, we're going to do this training here. Gambling it. Because we're going to race and then rest. Probably a bad decision there, but... Oh, there we go. There's our good mood again. But we'll race, rest. We're definitely a little bit lower than I was in my last one, so that we probably had some more skill point events. But we're definitely a lot higher than you would normally be. Alright, so this one's speed and power. Now we can rest. Hopefully it's a big rest. Of course. Of course. The very end always screws you. You gotta get well rested. Come on. Alright. Are we gonna win this? Oh, we're looking solid on this one. We had 2,000 skill points and we lost this one last time. Alright. And our last hope is going to be Gold Ship. There's Gold Ship. There she is. Come on, Gold Ship, give us groundwork. Nope. Come on, Gold Ship, where are you at? Alright, gold chip, last chance to give us groundwork here. Let's see, let me see my stat here. Actually, as fun as it would be, this one, we're not going to hit max speed if we hit this. The question is, do we gamble on a gold ship training on the next one if she shows up? We're going to have to gamble on a speed regardless. You know what? We're going to do it. Give it to us, gold ship. And she doesn't. Run's dead. No random groundwork off of like a selection of like 15 skills on a bubble. Big wit hit. Gold ship, give it to me. I don't think you can get it off a spirit burst on her though. Oh yeah, Ace, I understand I would have needed to hit in that if I didn't get that kind of luck. But it's that this run's already dead and because we don't have groundwork, and that was a last-ditch effort to get groundwork. But I think we barely max it here, or barely not high enough. But we never got groundwork, so the run's dead, effectively. But we can kind of see where we landed stat-wise, to kind of showcase. If you would have got that groundwork, what it would have looked like. And a silent Suzuka here. So we did max. God, we're healthy on stamina. If we would have got a Turf S and groundwork... If we would have got Turf S and groundwork, we're a little bit lower than we had last time. So I had 2,000 on the last run. Let's see where we land on the skills here. We have that. We have wet conditions. There's our 3 greens. We would take groundwork. Groundwork costs around 90. So we're going to take... We need to take a skill to pretend it's groundwork. We're going to take dodging danger. Pretend this is groundwork. Because we just need something that's going to cost about what groundwork does to see where we land. Okay, so then we also have to have that, that, and we got angling on that. So we have 412 points to work with. So up tempo's really good. Fast. Ooh, oh my god, why didn't I get groundwork? Massive discount on final there. We never did get Professor of Curvature. And then that, we have 3 mid-range skills. Yeah, we never got Curvature. We got everything else. I mean, this run's dead. It doesn't have groundwork, so it's not like it matters. Then we have 36 points. But that, so we pretend this is groundwork, so we would have groundwork, we'd have left-handed, wet conditions, runaway, plus our angling and scheming, concentration, taking the lead, unrestrained is our big gamble excel, fast-paced, which is really, fast-paced and up-tempo, both being really good mid-race skills, and then tail held high, which can trigger, well, we have plenty of skills that can trigger tail held high. We're very healthy on stamina this run. Wit's fairly good. Like, this is a high-ish... I wouldn't say a high roll. If we would have had groundwork, though, this would have been a very solid one. We're very healthy on stamina. If I could just move, like... I'd say 70 of that to here. But, it is what it is on that. And that would be the build. But as you can see, this is with very, very whaley cards here. And these are the numbers I'm getting. So just know it's going to be much harder if you do not have these types of top tier cards. A nice ass 15,259. All we needed was groundwork. And that's been like every silent Suzuka that I've done. It's always missing one piece of the puzzle. One piece of the puzzle. But overall, not too bad. I mean, as long as you just keep doing runs, you can kind of get the numbers that you want. But that means you have to spend carrots too. So if you're free to play, you really can't do that. And I would advise that a Runaway Silent Suzuka is probably something you don't want to work on now. Once we get to Grand Live, which is the 4th scenario, because you won't be able to do Runaway in Make a New Track, because it has in Karanak 5, thanks for the follow. Make a New Track, you can't do events, so you cannot get Runaway because you can't trigger the event. Grand Live, you will be able to, and there's going to be a lot more skill points for the mid-race, and you're going to be able to get a lot higher stats. But just know, this is what you can kind of look at if you kind of have a deck similar to mine. Now, you can go heavier. One option you can do to try, and holy crap, that's a lot higher than my other strong ones. You can always go higher on the power sparks and maybe substitute in another stamina card and then go with try and get a high roll on speed. There's always that option. It just really depends on your parents as well to a certain case. And someone is mentioning in chat, yes, during Make a New Track, you can always come back and still do Unity Runaway Silent Suzukas to try and win. But just know that they're going to have a lot more skill points and a lot more stats. You're going to need a freaking god run. But I guess in the ones that need less stamina, so the Miles, she might still be a potential candidate. Yep, that's a Silent Suzuka run for you. Actually came out pretty good. We just missed groundwork, and that's it. But yeah, that'll be it for now. And if you like my content, you could like, comment, subscribe. It really helps. And thanks for watching.